One pleasant evening, Spiky was enjoying the weather in a park. He saw a gardener planting rose stems into the soil. He thought to himself, "Aren't we supposed to sow seeds to grow a plant?" What do you think? Will the rose stems grow into new plants? The answer is yes.
It's time to work. I know.
Aha!
I will get the seed.
The life of a plant begins from a tiny seed.
Let's sow the seed. Wait, I have some conditions.
Conditions required for the growth of a seed are moisture, warmth, nutrient-rich soil, sunlight, good quality seed. Once these conditions are satisfied, the seed begins to grow.
Hello students, today I have another interesting and exciting topic. The topic is crop propagation. In it, I'll be looking at the meaning of crop propagation, the types of crop propagation, as well as the various methods of crop propagation. Why don't you ride with me? Happy viewing.
So what exactly is plant propagation? Plant propagation is the reproduction or multiplication of plants using seeds or other various tissues from a parent plant. To put it another way, plant propagation simply means making more plants. All of the many techniques of plant propagation fall into one of two main categories: seed and vegetative reproduction. Through cross-fertilization, we can combine the desirable traits from two parents of the same species. The seed that is formed and the resulting plant is called a hybrid.
Crop propagation is the process of getting a new plant from the old existing variety, either through the use of the seeds or through plant parts. What is important here is that there must be an old existing variety before a new one can be gotten.
A number of artificial methods are used to propagate plants in agriculture and horticulture. Some of these methods are layering, cutting, grafting.
Other methods are budding, marcotting, etc.
Cut a stem of a rose plant and bury it in the soil. Water it regularly. After a few days, the stem develops into a new plant. Similarly, cut a stem of money plant and keep it in a transparent water bottle. After a few days, you will observe the growth of the root and the shoot. Thus, we conclude that vegetative propagation can take place by the stem. You must have seen flower buds. Similarly, there are buds in the axil, that is point of attachment, of the leaf, at the node. The bud consists of the short stem are folded. This bud can give rise to a new plant. These buds are called vegetative buds. Bryophyllum has buds in the margin of the leaves. If a leaf of this plant falls on moist soil, a new plant can grow from each bud. Bryophyllum leaf is an example of vegetative propagation. Dahlia root. The roots of some plants can also give rise to new plants, for example, roots of a dahlia and sweet potato. Some of the benefits related to vegetative propagation are: it takes less time to grow. It bears flowers and fruits early. The new plant exactly resembles the parent plant.
Cutting. For cutting, we have to select a healthy young branch with a few nodes and internodes. Then cut off the branch and remove most of its leaves. Now the cut end is stuck into some good moist soil. Look at the cutting after some days. We can see that it develops roots and grows into a new plant. This method is used to propagate plants like rose, sugarcane, and pineapple.
What is grafting? Grafting, also known as graftage, is a horticultural technique whereby tissues of plants are joined together so that they continue their growth together. The upper part of the combined plant is called the scion, while the lower part is called the rootstock. The grafting technique is most commonly used in asexual propagation of commercially grown plants for the horticultural and agricultural business. In most cases, one plant is selected for its roots, and this is called the stock plant or the rootstock plant. The other plant is selected for its stems, leaves, flowers, or fruits and is called the scion. The scion contains the desired genes to be duplicated in future production by the stalk or the scion plant. Before going in detail about grafting techniques and advantages, let me explain few scenarios. Like, have you ever come across one of those miracle trees, like an apple tree that produces 6 different kinds of apples, or a tree that grows plums, peaches, and other fruits all on the same stem? Next, talking about another scenario, like you buy an orange tree that has the strong roots of one variety but the delicious fruit of another variety. What will you think? Won't you think about a method which can combine these two into one? Like, for generations, farmers, botanists, and home gardeners have been using plant biology to make these ideas into reality through a technique called grafting, used in avocado or the butterfruit plant. I have this plant actually with me. You can see the video of this plant. In fact, this was grown from a seed. If you have ever tried to grow an avocado tree from an avocado seed, you know that the resulting tree isn't very strong. This is because the avocado trees that produce the best fruit don't have the best support system. They put all of their energy into producing tasty fruit part so that they don't have a lot of energy left over for things like strong roots or good defenses and things like that. This is why avocados are so expensive. There is a certain breed of avocados that produces a really strong tree but not very good fruit. This tree can live in many different kinds of soil and the roots defend themselves from diseases. But no one wanted to grow these trees because the avocados were not tasty. Thanks to grafting, it is now common practice to take the scion from one tree and graft it into the rootstock of the other, producing a new tree with strong roots and delicious fruits. Wow, what an idea, isn't it? Now, coming to grafting tools. We use various grafting knives or cutting tools. They have to be really sharp to minimize the tissue damage and clean from dirt and other substances to avoid the spread of diseases. A good knife for general grafting should have a blade and handle length of about 3 inches and 4 inches respectively. Now, graft seals. Keeping the graft site hydrated, good seal should be tight enough to retain moisture, while at the same time loose enough to accommodate plant growth. This includes specialized types of clays, waxes, petroleum jellies, and adhesive types. Other tools like tying and supporting tools like supporting materials are required. Then one more thing is grafting machines are sometimes useful for automation because grafting can take a lot of time and skill. So grafting machines have been created for automation.
Let us see another method which is called layering.
Layering. In this method, a lower branch of a plant is bent down close to the ground and covered with moist earth in such a way that its growing tip remains above the soil surface. After a few days, the covered portion of the stem usually produces adventitious roots. The rooted branch is then cut and grown as an independent plant. This method is used to propagate plants such as jasmine, and it occurs naturally in black raspberries.
Budding.
How to do budding in plants. Of a bud from one plant to another plant. You can do budding between different cultivars of the same species, and in some cases, between different species. Unlike grafting, which attaches the entire upper part of a plant, budding only attaches the bud to a different plant. Tea budding works well during the summer, when the second plant is actively growing and the bark is healthy enough to peel from. Cut a budstick from its source. Search for fully matured buds growing along the original plant, often called a scion in budding. Prioritize branches that are still actively growing well away from the plant's stem, on the outside of the scion's canopy. Look for buds that appear fat and healthy where leaf stems grow from the branch. Cut the branch from the scion and then snip away any leaves from the branch. That the stem is still attached to the branch. Matured buds of one species of plant may look considerably different from another. Search online for images and descriptions for the particular plant that you are budding. Make sure that your plant is capable of budding before you start. Some plants will only graft to particular species of plants while other plants may not graft at all. When cutting away the leaves, make your cut at the base of the blade so that the stem is still attached to the branch. Matured buds of one species of plant may look considerably different from another. Carve a bud shield for grafting. Hold the bud stick so that the leaf stem is pointing away from you. Use a sharpened knife to begin your cut roughly a ½ inch below the stem's base. Slice into the bud stick toward the leaf stem. Curve your blade into the wood and then outward, in a crescent moon motion, so that it comes out a ½ inch above the stem. You should now have a small shaving of wood to graft into a new plant, the bud itself, and the leaf stem to use as a handle, all in one piece. This piece is called a bud shield. To make sure the bud doesn't go flying, remove the blade from the budstick just before it breaks the surface on its way out. From the outside, slice a cut a ½ inch above the stem, as though crossing a T, along the top of your original cut. You also can do I budding, where you cut a capital I, with one horizontal cut at each end of the vertical cut. These cuts should be as smooth as possible. Rough sawing actions with your knife will prevent the wood from successfully grafting with the new plant. Make a T-cut in the new plant. Choose a smooth spot on the stem of the new plant called a rootstock to graft your bud to. Make the vertical cut first, from top to bottom, along the stem. Keep it to the same size as the length of your bud shield. Then make a horizontal cut along the top to form your T. Alternately, you can make your horizontal cut along the bottom of the vertical cut. This will allow excess water or sap to drain from the rootstock more efficiently. Alternately, you can make your horizontal cut along the bottom of the vertical cut. This will allow excess water or sap to drain from the rootstock more efficiently. Create a pocket. Peel the bark away from your T-cut. Start from the inside corners where the vertical and horizontal cuts meet. Peel outward until a triangle of the plant's tissue is exposed. Stop here, without tearing the peeled bark off the stem. If the bark resists peeling, this may be a sign that the rootstock has not fully recovered from its winter dormancy. Wait until its dormant cycle is completely over before grafting. Usually this is during the height of summer, E5, greater than if the bark resists the rootstock. Once the bud shield lines up perfectly with the rootstock's vertical cut, line the two up. Smooth the two flaps of peeled bark over the bud shield to cover it. Wind grafting tape around and around the rootstock to seal the graft, leaving only the bud shield's leaf stem and bud exposed. Let the plant heal for 2 to 3 weeks, then remove the grafting tape.
Man cutting. Thanks for watching. Hope to come with another interesting and exciting topic next week. Bye.